It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's our goal. Hey, it's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey, don't you know? Hey, it's also a show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. I am Tom Papa. Thank you so much for joining me at the table once again for the final show of the year. Back from a 1-week hiatus where we got to stuff our faces and stretch out and travel around and see family and do all the crazy things you're supposed to do. And now we're back, baby. We are back in a big way with a great friend, Duncan Trussell. Duncan has been on the program before. I love him so much. He has such a great perspective, and he's got new kids. When I say new, I'm saying like 4 and younger. And who better to talk to about the holidays than someone that's got those little ones running around? That is prime time. You're coming into your own as a parent when you start spinning the mythology and creating the memories. And it's not always pretty. A lot of times things are out of your control, but they pile up. Whether the attempts are good or bad, seemingly successful or big flops, they all got added to the kids' memory banks and yours. The kids will hang on to it more than you will because you have too much responsibility and you're thinking about a bunch of other stuff, and that's where the photos come in handy. There's entire years, I believe, that I don't remember, and I see photos of, oh yeah, right, we were at the beach then, I guess. So Duncan Trussell is a great friend, and it's going to be nice talking to him about his country Christmas adventures. He's moved out of LA for a bit, and we'll find out in this conversation what his plans are next. I mean, that's the whole Hallmark movie paradigm. You give up your career in the big city and head to the country and go to a tree lighting and make cookies and live that little tiny one pickup truck life. Let's see how it works for the mighty Duncan Trussell. Today's show is brought to you by Dadgrass. 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 Dadgrass is smokable hemp. Smokable hemp. Gets delivered to you in this beautiful packaging, some single joints, some cigarette pack looking things. And when you just want to relax and you want that CBD easy kind of a feeling, but you don't want to just take like a little gummy or whatever, and you want to actually smoke it and like enjoy yourself and just kick back without having to hide from your family, like because you're doing something nefarious, you actually could enjoy some Dadgrass. You will be the most chilled out person at the holiday party. Try Dadgrass. Dadgrass is offering 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/papa, P-A-P-A. That's dadgrass.com/papa for 20% off your first order. We'd also like to thank the good people at DoorDash. DoorDash. What amazing company DoorDash is. You want to make your life easier? Do you want them to fill in all the gaps? The gaps of when you couldn't plan what you were going to eat, the gaps when you forgot to go and get something, the gaps when you are about to make something and you are missing one single ingredient, and because of your pets, because of the kids, because of your life, because of your exhaustion, you can't run out to the store. DoorDash. For a limited time, you can get 25% off your and zero delivery fees on the first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code PAPA. You should have this app already on your phone. Download the DoorDash app, enter PAPA, P-A-P-A, and you get 25% off up to a $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code PAPA, P-A-P-A, subject to change, terms apply. I hope the holidays are going well for you. I'm wearing a Christmas sweater, and I'm smoking an empty pipe. I tried smoking in it last year, so it still has a faint smell of tobacco, and that's kind of enough. I really don't need to stuff this thing and be puffing away real tobacco. Not that it's really even that bad smelling or bad in the house. It's just it's a pain in the ass. I'm not really a pipe smoker, but it seems like a good accessory for the holidays. I've been enjoying it. I haven't been going too crazy. I definitely have run into some friends, been reacquainted with people, got a couple dinners in that were very fruitful and rewarding. Nothing like sitting back and getting that cold martini in a nice, crisp tablecloth environment, sitting with a friend you haven't seen. These reunions are definitely carrying a little more weight, similar to when I go out and do my live shows right now. Carrying a little more weight. Of course, because we didn't get to do all of this in any natural way over the last 2 years. Always been a little Frankenstein. It's still a little Frankenstein, but it's a little less Frankenstein for the moment. I have some people that have been knocked out again and back into their hobbit holes. But yeah, it's amazing how the years now, they gave us, it's really 2 years of it, and not really out of it. Going to linger, going to be fits and starts. There's going to be flare-ups of something. There's going to be another name given, some scary name given to some new variant of some sort. And should we worry? Should we not worry? Definitely more than we bargained for. Let's just put it that way. And the resiliency, I have to say, this is a big thank you to everybody that listens to this podcast and everybody that comes out to the live shows. The reception has been remarkable, and it's been really fun. And I say kudos to you, because it is not a small thing. Not really that you can actually fight it all that much. But it is not a small thing to get out there and go see people and go see live stuff and participate online with this podcast and send me your messages and show me your fails and your successes. And there is a craving not only for good food and good comedy, but for connection. And good on you for doing it. I've been all over the country. People are turning out in a very big way. And it's been just cathartic and fun and enjoyable. And we're resilient creatures. I don't even want to, it's almost like, we shouldn't even, you don't even want to mention like the obstacles that we have to get around, because that's kind of our life now at this point. We're freshly out of it, so the obstacle, I guess, has to be mentioned to some degree. But we're going to just continue, and there will be obstacles of this sort that pop up from time to time, and screw it. Screw it. Whatever we have to do to soldier on and go do it, let's do it. I mean, this year has been an amazing list of guests from all these people in the food world, from all the comedians and actors that we've spoken to. And everybody kind of has a similar story of, yeah, it's been weird. Yeah, the years have screwed up my math about my own life. But we're doing the best we can, and that turns out to be better than what it was last year, and even better than 2 years ago. So it just keeps improving. And, it happens with everybody. It's just, you got to do what you got to do. You got to get through what you got to get through. Try and protect the people around you. And everybody from the food world, who's probably struggled even more than the comedians, smiles on their faces, celebrating, doing stuff with their families, and we're going to continue on that way. We're looking forward to another great year of this podcast. We'll be bringing in a lot of great new future guests. The food people are really expanding. That, to me, is really a lot of fun. Sit down live in person is definitely a great thing, but to be able to Zoom with people, like today with Duncan being on the other side of the country, that's been a blessing. Don't have to not talk to Duncan Trussell because he's in the woods somewhere in North Carolina, wherever he is. We get to actually sit down and spend quality time and have laughs, and that is thanks to figuring out a new way, and that component will still be here. We're going to, of course, sit with people and hopefully drink wine right while we're looking at each other's faces. There's nothing better than reaching across and filling up the glass of the person across from you. That's the optimum, I think. But when you're just talking with people, I think going forward, it's going to be a mix for sure. And I love having people in and being able to give them bread, but it's also nice to call Duncan and not have to bake him bread. That actually isn't true. Actually, in my mind, whenever I'm with somebody and they don't get it, there's a mental note that I owe them. So that's kind of just the way it goes. I just got to keep on baking it and making more. Not really sure what I'm doing for New Year's. Hope your New Year's is going to be okay. I'm not really too sure. Last year featured caviar. There was a new caviar place opened up by us, and I snuck down there and bought some overpriced fish eggs. But man, it was good. And that was a very small affair with just my wife and my daughter and me eating eggs. We dressed up. We did the right things. We celebrated in a big way. This year, I'm not sure. I figure the kids will probably be running away from us and trying to go capture a New Year's party that encapsulates the last 3 years in total and really is a blowout. And who knows? Maybe that means we stay in. Maybe we get more caviar. Not really sure what to make. I have to say, going through the holidays and as we journeyed through and got tips from all of our food people and cruised through the Super Bowl and the 4th of July and Halloween parties and Thanksgiving and the big Christmas Eve Feast of Seven Fishes, and then coming into New Year's. Nothing is bigger and more daunting than Thanksgiving. I think I'm coming down on that once and for all. It's not because it's more difficult. It's not because the dishes are even that much more complex. There's a lot going on in Christmas Eve, making lasagnas and stuff like that, but it's that giant bird taking up all that space in your oven for such a long time. And that just you're just a slave to that cooking schedule. And that's what I think makes it all so difficult. That is a tough meal. It's great. It's rewarding. It lasts for a week. But man, the Feast of Seven Fishes and cranking out all these different dishes and throwing in lasagnas and doing veggie stuff and meat-based stuff, it seems like a walk in the park compared to Thanksgiving. It's truly amazing. But those are all these things that we learn, and I got some good cookbooks through the holiday, and I'm excited to go forward and make more stuff and continue the conversation with all of you, and I hope you enjoy all of this and keep your messages coming and keep participating, and we'll just move forward, and hopefully it'll always continue to grow and become bigger and better. And I raise a glass, a metaphorical glass, to all of you and wish you a happy holidays. And let's cross our fingers. I almost don't want to say it out loud, but I will because I'm an optimist. And it's going to be it's going to be a great 2022. All right, now let's invite Duncan Trussell in. Great guy, great comedian, a great podcaster. He's so great. He's just got such a fresh perspective. He really does not need much of an introduction other than I'm really looking forward to this conversation of someone that actually left the big city and went to the little small country town and is there starting his Christmas with his children and his family. And let's see how he's doing. Let's see how he's celebrating. Let's see if we can't help him out. Enjoy the great Duncan Trussell.
God, Joe's always hanging out.
I like it.
Good to see you, Duncan. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
How is life? I haven't seen you in quite some time.
Oh, man, life's pretty good. We're up here in the mountains of North Carolina, and we took our kids to the Christmas lights last night. They've got a nice arboretum here, and they throw up some Christmas lights.
Nice. This sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Hallmark movie, living hell is what it is. It's like I you want, as a parent, you're like, this is going to be amazing. I've been at work all day. I'm going to take my kids to see these beautiful lights at
Right.
night. It'll be an hour past his bedtime, but it's going to be this magical thing because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
And you get there and it's just kids freaking the fuck out. They're cold. You know what I mean? Like, who cares about the lights everywhere? It's like the beginning of Jacob's Ladder. I don't know if you remember that movie. But just kids confused, tripping out. Like, why did you do this to the trees?
Why am I up late? Why did you give me sugar on top of this?
Yeah. Because they're just okay. So that's the other part. Our son has allergies, so we have to check everything. So we wanted to get him some hot cocoa,
Right.
and so I'm like, can I see the ingredients? And it's got in the hot cocoa something called titanium dioxide.
What?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, titanium is in this hot cocoa? Like, and you're hearing in the background children just like, ah! They've been just drinking titanium laced cocoa.
It really is that thing. Is like you are going to make Christmas magic happen. You are going to force it down their throats.
That's right, exactly. And then Forrest he actually started enjoying it. I'm not trying to throw him under the Christmas bus here. Like he liked it, but he also wanted to run. Why wouldn't you? He wants to run fast, not just through the lights, into the lights. It all makes sense from his perspective.
Yeah.
So then my wife and I are fighting because we're like trying to find an orange for him, and it was, you're in like the dumbest fight of maybe your whole life.
Just exhausted.
Yeah.
Confused.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's almost 3.
He's almost 3. All right. Yeah. So this is really getting good.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. It is. It's
Yeah.
all of that stuff. I mean, it all speaks for how wonderful it is to have kids because
Mm-hmm.
like all of that stuff in my former incarnation as a single childless person.
Yeah.
Literally, if you told me that, I would think that sounds like hell on earth.
I know.
And yet it's still the best night. It's still the coolest thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just weird. You can't kind of roll up there by yourself without a child.
Oh, you sure can. That's like these Christmas lights. There's either people with kids or people on a bunch of mushrooms. Because they want to see the lights, man. So it's like either like, people with tie-dye sweaters.
Right.
Or children screaming.
So do you have a tree in the house?
Yes, we do.
Nice.
What
And
about you?
and yes, we're in full effect. We've got the lights outside on the front, blasting out the neighborhood.
Nice.
And then we've got the tree is all set up. The biggest thing, my highlight is the village underneath the tree with the train going around.
You did that? You did
Oh,
a
yeah.
train?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
that's been my passion project since I was 10.
That is so cool. I want to get Forrest a train. I just don't think we're there. I think it's like he's still a little too young, especially for the train under the tree.
Mhm.
Because they're not going to be able to not
Right.
touch it and rearrange it and stuff. But
I
that
know.
sounds so cool. Maybe in a few years.
It is cool. There's something I don't understand why, but something about the little lights and the little shops. It just kind of sucks you in. You really get fooled by this little diorama that you create under there, and you're like, it is another world. Like you set it up. We've been doing it for 20 years, and it's like, oh, they're back. Good to see you guys.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah. Listen, again, I don't mean to like do some weird missionary breeder work here because anyone who isn't having kids, I get it. And but like before everything you just said to me before I had kids,
Yeah.
it would go over my head, or I'd be like, great, I ate diarrhea. I don't know, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I get it now because you're holding a baby who's looking at a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And is like stunned by how beautiful it is and mysterious it is, and it reminded me of when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the tree and the depth that it's given with the lights and every ornament seems to mean something, but you're not
Yeah.
sure what. So the train edition is just a mind blower.
Yeah, it's completely insane. It's very strange though, because you get into it like we always loved it. Like my wife and I we wouldn't do the train, but we would do the tree and everything before the kids. And then when the kids come, it goes full bore, exactly what you're in. It's like lift off for 15 years of just constant, just trying to create magic. And then and now they're getting a little older, and now they're starting to dip out, and I find myself under the tree by myself setting this stuff up.
Yeah, and but that is the world that we're living in right now, is such a tight-assed world that to be able to successfully, without feeling shame, have a thing like that under your tree, so you need kids. You know what I mean? If you do it by yourself, you can do it. You're a hobbyist or whatever.
Right.
But for most people, there's going to be a sense of like, am I doing all right? Is something coming really bad? Like, am I about to make a really bad decision?
Yeah.
But once you have kids, you can you get to live like a human.
Yeah.
That stuff is the best.
Oh, it is the best. It's totally the best. So what is the Santa story? What's getting as far as Santa?
We're doing classic Santa. We talked about it.
Nice.
So my wife got the freaking Elf on the Shelf, and we started watching Elf on the Shelf films. And I'll be honest, like Elf on the Shelf, we stopped pushing it because it's like, it's a panopticon, man. It's like George Orwell. Elf on the Shelf is like a snitch. He flies back to the North Pole to but also on top of that, it's a literal, like, I know Santa is something of a conspiracy that you're introducing to the children, you know what I mean? But Elf on the Shelf is like freebasing that conspiracy, because now it's not a camera, but it might as well be. It's something worse than a camera.
He's just appearing every single day, every morning. He's been running around your house at night.
Yeah, he flies back. If you touch him, he loses his magic. But the whole thing, you watch the Elf on the Shelf. There's like 15 Elf on the Shelf cartoons.
Oh,
and
really?
They're all really like, the underlying message of Elf on the Shelf is like the reason you should be good is because there's now a kind of like, I guess you could call it like secret services, some being that works for Santa, who, by the way, if that thing was like 6 feet tall, it would be horrifying. Just watching you unmoving unless you're not looking, and then it can suddenly move. So Elf on the Shelf, we kind of gave up on that, but we're classic Santa.
I know, it really is kind of frightening that he's just walking around your house all night long while you're in bed,
watching your kids. Just staring at your kids using what is, I don't know, the Elf on the Shelf's ethics system. I don't know what's its religion. What is Elf? How does it know what's right and what's wrong?
I would keep him in a box somewhere though, because once he gets to school around other kids, there's going to be a little Elf on the Shelf peer pressure, which is, my other 3 friends, that elf shows up and he does stuff every night. Where's my elf? That's what kind of happened to us. And then you kind of rode it for a while. And then at like 14, 15, they're still asking for it, but they know how it's moving. They really understand. They know mom and dad are involved somehow. And now you find yourself putting them in all these things, and they like get up in the morning like with a cigarette and just like, oh yeah, cute. He's on the mantle and knocked over the candle.
Yeah. No, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't think it's really caught his attention yet.
Right.
He kind of understands there's this creature but he doesn't seem quite fascinated.
That would be confusing at 3. It's like just wrapping your head around Santa is enough.
Exactly.
And now he's got like a lackey that just hangs around the house.
Yeah. No, it's really Elf on the Shelf is really dark. It's a dark message. We don't need an Elf on the Shelf to be good.
My Santa strategy, which holds to this day, and my kids are 16 and 19, is that I 100%, if they approach me and ask any questions about the tale or the reality, I 100% believe And I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean there's people that say that he doesn't exist?
That's cool.
And I've held on to it at 16 and 19. I still to this day, that's the story. I'm not going to falter. I stick to it. And then, it takes on different meaning as they get
You're
older.
Committing.
But it's a good strategy. I highly recommend it.
Well, gosh, I'll think about that one. I mean, like, I think I'm going to do, on this, based on I think what you said is way cooler. So I'm following something super cool with something that now that having heard what you are doing, it seems really lame. But my plan was to say, well, Santa exists, but sort of on a different channel of reality.
Right.
But like, when he's 16, he's gonna be like, okay, acid head, all right. Like,
Yeah. And then but if you could just say to him, oh, like, totally. What do you mean he's not? What?
yeah,
What do
he's
you?
totally real.
So wait, where does all the presents come from? What?
Yeah. That Santa thing is a fascinating deception. I remember being like pretty let down when my mom told me there's no Santa Claus. And also I remember feeling a lot of like cognitive dissonance. Like, what the fuck else have you lied to me about?
Right. I know, exactly. It is upsetting. But then if you play dumb and you're just like a Forrest Gump who still believes, they can't bust you on it. You're like,
They're almost going to want to play then you reverse it.
Yes.
Even though they know it's not real, they don't want to hurt your feelings.
That's exactly it.
That's cool. I like it. I like the Papa method. That's awesome.
Yeah, once you're in. It's like, if you're not going to get to 22 and say Jesus isn't real. Once you start, you're in.
Well, I think, can't we expect our kids to, I mean, I don't know what religion you all practice, but we can, if we talk to our kids about Jesus, which we do,
yeah,
I think it's a safe bet that at some point they're going to be like, come on, that's not real.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
I'm kind of excited about that moment. Edgelording to me, because I'm like, oh, really? You're going to try to like seem edgy saying Jesus isn't real? Because I did that for like 15 or 20 years.
Right.
Passionately proud of my seeming brilliance in deconstructing something that obviously isn't necessarily meant to be taken literally. But yeah, that's gonna be,
exactly.
I'm excited for that moment.
Is there church involved?
Not yet. Because of COVID. We moved up here to the mountains for a big period. I don't think you could even go to church.
Right.
Now you can, but we are planning to come back to the West Coast.
I'm excited by this news. I'm sorry to jump in the middle of the thing, but I'm too excited. This was news to me.
Oh, a lot of my friends like you, they kind of like gave me various warnings about, because my wife and I lived in LA for a long time, longer than I grew up here up in the mountains, but I lived in LA longer than that.
Right.
And everyone was like, you're gonna come back, like you know what I mean? Different versions of like, well, you could try.
Oh, that's cute. You're doing that. That's cute.
Yeah. A little different versions of that. And I read some piece Seinfeld wrote about like going off to live in Florida and like how that's just gonna, and like the way he can.
Yeah.
I was pissed when I read it.
Oh, really?
I think I tweeted some snarky shit about it too, because I'm like, fuck that guy. He's wrong.
That was the New York article?
Fuck yourself with your own New York thing. I get to. I'm going to go be a prepper up in the mountains. Why would I miss LA? I was only there for 17 years. I'm not going to miss that. Why would I miss that? All my friends are there. Why would I miss that? The place I do stand-ups there. Why would I miss that place? I could do it in a small town with no friends.
Was it too isolating?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was. It's a lot of different. It's a lot of different things. All of it mainly boiling down, and I'm glad we did it, because I think a lot of people have the fantasy of, I'm going to go up to the country, have a nice quiet place, and enjoy the birds and the silence, and hike,
make some jams,
maybe be a beekeeper at some point, or at least be friends with a beekeeper. It's gonna be,
make some candles.
I'm gonna make candles. It'll be great.
All right. Do you want to be the most chill guy at the Hollywood holiday party? Not necessarily at Hollywood, but you want to enjoy yourself this year? You want to cut down on the stress? Look, we go run around and do the whole holiday dog and pony show. It's rough. You know, you land someplace and you get rental cars and you go see your family one after another. There's no downtime. It's just dinner after dinner after dinner after chore after getting presents and more parties and more presents and trying to squeeze in a couple emails here and there. It's a lot. It's a good celebration, but there's a price to be paid, and that is in stress. Well, what smells better than chestnuts roasting on an open fire? Dadgrass smokable hemp. And you won't even need to hide your holiday toque from your loved ones because dadgrass is something all the adults can enjoy. Looking for the perfect gift for anyone on your list? This year, give the gift that New York Magazine called the CBD product that convinced me CBD was actually a thing. Dadgrass chills you out whenever you need it. The ultimate stocking stuffer, New Year's Eve party, add-on. Looking for anyone to chill out, kick back, and truly enjoy the holiday season. There's nothing like a casual toque with the cousins before the holiday dinner. And this year, light up with something all the adults can enjoy. Dadgrass. And you don't even have to sneak around. And you don't end up super high or anything like that. You just end up relaxed. 100% organic hemp. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. Pre-rolled joints and tinctures are very low in THC and high in CBD, so you can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. And if you're traveling this season, there's no need to worry. You can take it wherever you go. It's TSA approved. So right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/papa. I've had it, I've smoked it, and just relaxed under the tree. It's a nice little treat. Go to dadgrass.com/papa, P-A-P-A, for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/papa, P-A-P-A. As you were running around and doing all these errands, wouldn't it be nice if you had the good people from DoorDash on your side? Yes, I use them multiple times. You're in trouble. You're making something, you're missing one single ingredient, you forgot that one thing at the store, always the thing that actually started you going to the store in the first place, and then you get distracted and buy all the other stuff, and then you realize, oh man, I forgot it, and I've already started baking, I've already started making my sandwich, I can't go back out there, it's too much. DoorDash, yeah. DoorDash can help you out. Whatever you want to eat right now, right at your door. With DoorDash. Along with restaurants you love, you can now get groceries and other essential items delivered with DoorDash. You can get drinks, snacks, other household items in under an hour. Craving late night ice cream? Missing an ingredient for dinner? Maybe you need to stock up for the week. With DoorDash, you get everything in one app. It's on your phone. It's very intuitive. It's easy to use. And it has over 300,000 partners. So you can support your neighborhood go-tos or choose from your favorite national restaurants like Popeyes, Chipotle, Cheesecake Factory. Ordering is easy, and your items will be left safely outside your door when you choose contactless delivery drop-off. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and zero delivery fees of their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code PAPA. That's 25% off up to a $10 value and zero delivery fees for your first order. You're going to download the app. You should have the app. You got to get the app. And why not get the little extra benefit here when you put in the code PAPA after you download the app? That will give you 25% off your first order with DoorDash. It's subject to change. Terms apply, of course. We're all grown-ups. Things change. But this is a good company. And anybody that can make your life a little easier and go run for you to the store and leave you at home drinking your martini, making your hot chocolate, and taking one element out of your day and making it easier, why not? DoorDash.com. All right, guys, back to Duncan Trussell.
Yeah.
Store up ammunition, but
No traffic.
no, all these things, and then you experience the reality
Uh-huh.
of that, and you have like Los Angeles demands that you're trying to apply to a place that's like, this is not Los Angeles. Like
Los Angeles demands, what do you mean? Like your own demands?
No, like you expect things to work like they do in a big city where there's high population density, and like, you expect that kind of, that way of being, which is for better or for worse,
Right.
kind of at a certain pace, a faster pace than you're going to find in a small town. And you're used to that and you expect that. And so, you're not going to get that in a small, none of this is like rocket science or anything.
No, but it is, I am leaning in because that is we travel all the time, and you go to these smaller places and you're like, what if I were to live here? Like, what would this be like? And as much as you kind of can daydream about it and think you know what it is, you really don't until you do what you did.
Yeah.
You really don't really. Would I miss? Would I be comfortable? What was the things? What were the LA? What was it like having restaurants? Was it just the rhythm?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of. The Asheville, where I'm at right now, is dealing with like a real problem that a lot of like cool small places are dealing with, which is that there's a massive influx of people like me, locusts, just flying in from the cities with the agrarian fantasy, and we're all coming here and like, driving up prices, and also creating like a serious problem with resources, because it's these cool small places, they can't expand fast enough. So you get a shit ton of us moving in, and we all want this and that and stuff, and work done on our freaking houses and all this stuff. And it's like there's not enough people here to accommodate it, So you get this sad collision between people who are, I think, justifiably irritated with the fact that all of a sudden there's all these people, there's more traffic than there's ever been. Rents are increasing. So you get this kind of like real xenophobia that's like rooted in a legitimate shift in the ability to live in the way you were living in the place. On one side. Then on the other side, you get people like us who are having these like insane expectations and somehow blaming it on the place that we moved to. Like in a really ridiculous kind of privileged way, which is like, what? Why don't you suddenly have like the best sushi on the planet? Why aren't you suddenly like, you know what I mean? Why can't at any second that I want get like an incredible house cleaner and have my house, have like additions put onto my house and all these? Wait, why isn't this just happening when I want it instantaneously? And so, one thing is smashing into the other, kind of like snobbish, privileged attitude, meeting a kind of small town protective xenophobia. Yeah, that creates a lot of sparks. And,
So that's got to be, so that's got to be some kind of, so you kind of actually feel that tension as it's not like an idyllic. If you were to go to even smaller place that wasn't so cool, where a lot of people weren't going, Asheville's kind of, that's on everybody's mind when they kind of have those fantasies. But what if you went even smaller? What if you went to a place where there aren't a bunch of people from New York and LA moving in? Would that be too small?
No, well, look, I kind of thought about that, because at one point we were looking for places and we were shell shocked from LA and the pandemic, and we both were kind of freaked out by watching the city close down and watching like all the problems that appeared in the city, and like, just like having young kids trying to go to a playground, a naked person's throwing a hatchet into the ground or whatever, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
It got scary for a beat.
Yeah, it did. And so we were prepper adjacent and really almost bought a compound up in the mountains. Thank God we didn't. We came within inches of buying a ton of land, and we didn't do that. I'm so happy we didn't do that. But my feeling is, maybe it would be better, but it would require a complete realignment of priorities. You know?
Yeah.
things that you like. You like what you like.
Yeah, exactly.
You like what you like. Nothing wrong with what you like.
Right. I know. I pass your place all the time because I drive down. I drive that way a lot to take my daughter to dance and stuff. And yeah, I miss having you over there. I miss knowing that you're in that space.
Thanks.
But it does kind of feel like you've been on vacation. It does feel like, like I thought you were staying, but in my mind I was like, oh, I wonder if he's home. I wonder if he's coming back.
Like coming back. That was, I think the other thing, when we were first talking, that was during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was this kind of natural isolation that was happening within the city.
Yeah.
And then in that natural isolation, I think I made the really idiotic, I thought something really dumb, which was, this is enough. Zooming with people will be enough. Why do I need to be in close proximity of anyone? We live in a new world where we can be separate and still be together. That's stupid. There's so much dumb hubris and just, what am I, a fucking alien? Like, both my wife and I are like, what were we thinking?
Yeah.
At least she was pregnant. So
right.
Like, she was having pregnancy hormones that were like, I want to go to a safe place.
Sure.
To hatch the baby.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, no, you weren't alone. A lot of people fled. I mean, when you say like going to the comedy, doing your stand up here and being with your friends, a lot of your friends are not here anymore.
That's true.
Right. I mean, a lot of people they show up often, though. That's the one thing I noticed. Like, there's a lot of people that were like, I'm out of here, went to Nashville or Austin, and they seem to be in the Instagram of the Comedy Store weekly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. They're all coming back. It's very interesting.
Well, this is a cheesy thing to say, but I think this sounds really cheesy.
I love cheese.
LA either accepts you or rejects you. This is superstition, maybe. And if LA accepts you, it's not an easy kind of acceptance, but I know a lot of people, and I feel like I'm one of them, where the city gave us a life and gave us a career and gave us like the ability to improve our craft and so I feel very sentimental just about the city, like not just like the people who are there, but there's you can get a kind of, I don't know how to put it, but almost a weird, I don't know, love affair with the city, you know what I mean? And feel a real relationship to the city. I know that sounds cheesy.
No, it's true. I mean, that's what you're going through right now, is this relationship isn't really working out. Right. It's like I thought you were cute and I thought this would work, and now you're both looking at each other like, I mean, we could still be friends, but
yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Right, yeah. And now I have to go back to LA and be like, are we cool?
I knew you'd be back. There is something still, and this kind of is where I always end up. Is I'm New York and LA most of the time, my whole adult life, and then I see places like I did a show in Barry, Vermont, small little town, southern Vermont. It was like so nice. You're walking around, you're like, could I? And then after a good day or two, you're like, no, maybe there's a reason there's bed and breakfast here. There's a reason there's a hotel here. There's a reason there's Airbnb if I want to stay even longer.
Yeah.
Slide in, stay a bit. You don't have to live there.
Right.
You don't have to up everything and move. You can go visit these spots.
That's right. But it is so seductive. These places are, and also when you're there, you're usually there. Maybe you're doing stand up, maybe you're there on vacation, but no matter what, the thing you're experiencing is so far away from, 6 months into the stay, 8 months in, when you've eaten at all of the 6 good restaurants, and,
right?
But which is why there's something incredibly beautiful about people who have harmonized with nature,
sure,
and aren't asking for more, and aren't on fire like people like us are.
I know. But I have to say, like, even in, like, here we are in the holidays, and you're just talking about the lights. I'm sure downtown Asheville is probably idyllic. I bet there's lights. I bet it's like this cool vibe. I bet the shops are all transforming into the holiday mode. It's got to be that cool country Christmassy vibe to it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, what's cool about Asheville is it's a collision of, it's like, I don't know, someone took Portland and Seattle and then just smashed it together with a Hallmark Channel town.
Yeah.
So it's like such a it's such a cool mixture of things,
Mm-hmm.
You do have all of that stuff, but then also like, Moog, the company that makes some of the greatest synthesizers on earth, is here. And
right.
like probably
Yeah.
like I don't know for sure, but if I had to bet, I would imagine there's some like anarchist and environmental people here who most definitely are on the FBI's wanted list. You know what I mean? If I had to bet where they're at, they're probably around here somewhere. So you get this cool mixture of so much here. It's so, yes, it is really
and they all show up at the tree lighting.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Some are protesting, some are excited about it. But
Right.
yeah, it's just I just think it for me, it's what I've learned from this is be who you got to be who you are. Like I want to be harmonize with nature guy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be beekeeper guy, or I
Right.
want to be the guy who gardens or does puzzles. I'm not at all that person. I'm not.
No, I mean what you're describing actually could be a retired person. Like
Right.
you may get there in 40 years.
Yeah. Yes. In 40 years I'll get there, but I think maybe one of the reasons retired people are overjoyed by that
Yeah.
activity is because like they're all medicated. Like that's like infinite benzos, endless supply of Ambien and Xanax.
Well, that's where I always come back to also whenever I'm like fantasizing, like, could I live at the Jersey Shore? I love the Jersey Shore. It's beautiful being on the water, being at the beach. And in the winter, everybody leaves. It's you and 20 other people left on the island.
Yeah.
Could I do it? And I always come down to, yeah, I probably could, but I'd be really high. I would have to be so high all the time to stop the part of my brain that is active and wants to go do stuff.
That's the secret. That's what we got to do. That's how you would do it. And I can't do that. I got kids.
No, you can't.
I can't be that high all the time. I got kids.
No, you're going to get a call. Someone's going to need a ride. You're going to have to meet with a teacher. You can't.
Exactly. Every day it's some like miniature like catastrophe that has to be dealt with.
Red alert.
Yeah.
You're a fireman. You're literally a volunteer fireman now for the next 16 years.
That's exactly what it is. Keeping the phone on, watching, just making sure, especially with the kid with allergies,
Oh my God. So what's the in the house for the holiday celebrations? Is there anything going on? Is there any cookie baking? Is there any cinnamon sticks on the stove filling the house with a warm holiday smell?
I love that. We're gonna do this, and this is what I'll give you our Christmas map right now. This is what we got, and I think you're gonna be able to help me make it cooler. So here's what we got. We got the Christmas tree.
Right.
We've got stockings in front of the fireplace.
Nice.
We have lights out front.
Nice.
A collection of lights. And I felt the thing. My neighbor's lights are better than my lights. And my wife keeps fucking talking about to people. Like I keep hearing talking about him. Saying like, oh, he went up so high. And I saw him putting the lights up. And I'm like, jealous. I'm feeling like real stupid jealousy.
Look at his snowflakes blinking.
I said to her, I'm like, I'll go up and put the lights up high, and she's like, no, you won't. You can't, because she knows how clumsy I am.
So you're not going up there. No. Here's a solve I had for that. Is I went with the like the bigger retro lights, like the ones from like A Christmas Story, like a 1950s house, like the beginning of all of this insanity. So if you go retro, a little vintage, you're supposed to be a little lame. You're supposed to be. You're not going to be. You're not going to be Christmas Vacation with 1,000 lights and animatronics and all the rest of it. So if you kind of like lo-fi it, it's like we're vinyl. We're vinyl.
I love it. I love that. That's great. Maybe next year we'll do that. But my wife wants a hardcore. She wants basically like Coachella or Burning
right. Downtown Disney.
Yeah, she does want that. Like she was like we were in the morning in bed watching TV with the kids.
Yeah.
And she pulls up some YouTube video of someone's house. The front, honestly, it doesn't look that cool. It's just normal lights. And then all of a sudden, some kind of music kicks in, and it's the most insane shit you've ever seen. Everything's synced to the music. And she looks at me. She's serious, by the way. There's no sarcasm. She's like, I want that next year.
Oh, no.
Like, that's going to be like $7,000 a month for the power bill. Like, and not to mention, like, I'm going to have to get, like, I don't know. I'm going to have to get, like, professional projectionists to come in.
Yeah, and then store it in the off season.
Oh yeah, you'd have to rent a storage unit, but so we got
That's good though. You're gonna have to up your game.
I have to up my game.
She's demanding it.
So we've got Christmas tree, we've got stockings, and we have all the toys that we're gonna wrap.
Nice.
And leave under the tree. But honestly, that's kind
food.
of well, as far as the food thing goes, it does get a little challenging because Forrest has some allergies, so we have to figure out how to like what he can eat. So many things have. He's allergic to pea protein, lentils, eggs, and peanuts. So we have to like just be careful because that's the thing we don't want to happen during Christmas is to have to give him like an epi shot. Yeah.
No, you don't want that. But there are a lot of. I mean, those things that you listed are not found in a lot of Christmas cookies.
Yeah, right. It's true. But the scary thing about it is because introducing new foods to a kid who has allergies, you just don't know. And so you just have to be super careful. We're figuring it out a little bit at a time. It's just like, it's a slow rollout of like, okay, he can eat pirate's booty and he can eat mellow mushroom pizza and he can, but like the last time he had to get epied, it was from that I want to make my kid's life magical. I don't know what happened. I was late at night on Instagram and saw someone making ice cream. So I'm like, I'm gonna make ice cream with Forrest, and I get this expensive fucking ice cream machine. I'm so excited. And the thing where you have like the dad fantasy of like, here's what it's gonna be like making ice cream with my kids, and it's the most transcendent, beautiful bonding experience. They're like, wow, you're making ice cream.
Looking up at you. Wow,
the whole time. This is, look at him making ice cream. So I get this ice cream maker, throw in the ice cream, the ingredients, which are eggs. And within like 3 minutes of watching this, he's like gone. He's like, I'm gonna go in the playroom, and that's it.
You're alone making ice cream.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit about making ice cream. So the ice cream gets made, tastes so good. And I give him some, and then Aaron and I go out. My mother-in-law's there, so we go out on a date, and then within 5 minutes after sitting down, it's a text. I think he's having a reaction.
Oh no!
And then you got to epi him, and then if you're gonna epi a kid, you have to take them to the ER for observation. Like that's the protocol because you just don't know.
Right.
So anyway, it's like that puts you in a place of you start getting really careful.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Any allergy parents listening to this, tweet at me what Christmas cookies are safe if you know. Like, let us know, because that's the other cool thing is you get this network of allergy parents that will tell you, oh, this is good, and also I'll tell you, we got the healthiest kids on earth, because you
Yeah.
you can't really take them to McDonald's or something.
That's great. Yeah, no processed stuff. Maybe one candy cane. They can get one candy cane. Tell them the elf on the shelf said you're allowed one candy cane, and you decide when you can eat it.
That's cool. Yeah, he can eat candy canes. We gave him we give him bits of chocolate and stuff, and we've, because of his allergies, he hasn't had a lot of candy. So
Right.
like for Halloween, we gave him candy that he could eat.
Yeah.
And it was the craziest shit I've never seen any. It's like
You went crazy?
like me when the Adderall kicks in, or I've never seen the transformation was so immediate, where there was Forrest, my son, and now all of a sudden there's this thing that's just running back and forth in the kitchen, screaming, running back and forth, until he fell down, coughing, breathing. It was crazy to see.
It's like he's in a dog run.
Yeah. It was wild to see.
It's amazing.
Our nervous systems are like melted candles, we've been throwing that shit in our bodies for our whole lives. So
Right, exactly.
to us.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, you get a little cranky. That's all that happens to us.
Yeah, just a little cranky.
All right, last question before we go about our day. Is there any grown-up thing during the holiday? Is there any scotch? Is there any cigars? Is there any grown-up things that you crave, whether or not you do them or not?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yes. Right now I'm doing a booze fast. So it's just all, yeah, whiskey. My wife went to, our friends had a whiskey and cookie party.
Right.
And it was just I wanted to go so bad, but I'm trying to be healthy
clean
this
up.
month. So it's
Right.
literally two of my favorite things on earth, by the way. So that would have been I would have really enjoyed that, but
That's all right to abstain. That's all right.
I think that there's over the problem with the holidays is they last a long time.
A long time.
All the way to New Year's Eve, and so Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
we have this chunk of hedonism,
Right.
right in the part of the year where if you're gonna get fat, that's where you're gonna get fat, because it's cold outside. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's if you
A quarter of the year.
a quarter of the year.
Yeah.
And so if you tell people, you know what, I'm going to try to be healthy during this quarter of the year, it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't slack off the rest of the year. Maybe they exercised and ate right, and they're excited.
They're
for
geared up.
Yeah. So I miss that, but on the other hand, I don't know. I don't really have some adult. I'll be honest with you. I hated Christmas until I had kids, Tom. I would get depressed around this time.
Right.
I would just try to get as drunk or high as I possibly could to put myself into a coma and not think about anything to do with anything. I celebrated my aloneness, and it was at the time I thought it was kind of heroic, but looking back on it, I feel like it was pretty tragic. And
Right. Well, you're getting through it. And this, now that you've got kids, this is a whole nother world. This is the thing about building a family. It's oh, okay, this isn't about me. I mean, the greatest thing about having children is it takes the spotlight off of you finally.
Yes.
And puts it on someone else.
That is the joy of the thing. And it's I'm so lucky because my wife is very into Christmas, very sentimental, and is has been pretty much in charge of the festivities, but I'm kind of a Christmas illiterate. So can you recommend some kind of adult thing that you do on Christmas that I could adopt, even if it involves booze, because I am not afraid of maybe having a little drink or something.
Well, I do believe one of the moments that I always fantasize about, and sometimes we pull it off, and sometimes with the kids and the running around, we don't pull it off. But because we had one night where the two of us just sat by the tree late, everyone's asleep, and with a Lagavulin, like a nice scotch. And you're not going to do like 20 of them, maybe one or two, but just the two of you just taking a breath for like an hour, just sitting and lights off around the place, just the glow of the tree with a nice scotch. That's your vacation.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. That's the coolest thing ever. I love that. You're so cool. You really are, man.
You're the coolest. I mean, literally, I was like, what am I going to do for Christmas? As we're getting into this holiday season, there was only literally, and I'm not blowing smoke. There was only one person that I was like, this is about like reconnecting with a friend and seeing somebody you haven't spoken to in a while. And I was like, this was a dream come true. I was so excited to wake up and do this.
Thank you. It's the best to chat with you. I cannot wait till we can hang out in person.
Yeah.
Next stop, Lagavulin.
And then next stop next year, you bring the kids over and I'll have somebody to set the village up for.
Oh yeah, they will love that. You will have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old who will freak out.
It'll be perfect. All right, Duncan. Thank you so much, man.
Merry Christmas. Thanks, Tom.
Merry Christmas.
All right, that's it. That's our final show for the year, everybody. Thank you so much for being here at Breaking Bread. You guys are the best. Thank you to Duncan Trussell. A big thank you to him. Have a good, healthy, happy New Year celebration. Deep breath. Enjoy your life. And I'll see you soon.